Hey there YouTube, welcome to my channel and welcome to my 900 subscribers video. Yeah, I've finally reached another YouTuber subscriber milestone on my channel with 900 subs. This video is a little late. I mean, I passed the 900 subs a couple of weeks ago, but I waited until I got a nice comfortable cushion between, passing the threshold, and then I'm up to about, what was it, 905, 906. I think that's near enough. Also, I wanted a couple of other things to fall into place, and I'm in a position now where I can actually sit down and do this 900 subs video. Now, this subscribers milestone video is going to be a little bit unusual in that it's actually two videos in one. I'm going to be doing a review of the figure itself. And because it's a small basic figure, I've decided to flesh out this video with so this video is going to be in like two parts. You're going to have like the review up front, and then you're going to have the second part of the video, which is going to be I'm going to show you all the, because it's one of the characters I like to do character mold set collecting for. I like to collect all the molds for it, and I've got all the molds for this particular character currently, and I like to show you all the molds that I've got. So anyway, before I get started, a little bit of housekeeping. Now, some of you may know that I like to keep records on my Transformers collecting thing. I did this when I first started, became an adult Transformers collector back in, what was it, March, no not March, no, May of 2014. I've got my notes down here. Yeah, so I decided I wanted to become an adult Transformers collector, and because I was starting a collection afresh, from a fresh start, I decided to keep records, and since then I've been keeping fastidious records on my collecting habit. I know exactly how many bots I've got in my collection. I know where I bought a bot. I know how much I paid for it, how long it took to deliver, all that stuff, all that data. I have got it on hand. It's a bit of a pain in the arse having to keep it up, but it is a thing. And as part of this, every bot that enters my collection gets a serial number, and as part of this, when I reach a what I refer to as a centenary bot, I reserve that centenary bot for the review, the subscribers' centenary review of that particular number. And so far, you've seen all my subscriber, centenary or subscriber centenary bots have been used, for 100 subs, 200 subs, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and now we're on to 9. But anyway, also if you go back through my videos to the point where I reached 900 subs, you'll see my bot 900 was this guy, Masterpiece Sunstreaker. Now, for a time this was my bot 900, but then a couple of years later, when I was at bot 1200 or something like that, I went back and looked at my TF Nation 2017 list, and I noticed that there was a bot. Well, I noticed there was a couple of glaring discrepancies in my bot numbering system from 2017, and it all started with this guy. Yes, Mastermind Creations Perfection Series Terragus Rally. I bought this from Kapow on the Saturday morning, but when I came to update my bot numbering list, I left him out completely. And then on the Sunday, I did 2 more discrepancies. So when I found this out years later, I was three numbers out, or 3 digits out on my bot numbering system, which was a huge disaster for me. And so once I corrected all the mistakes, all 3 of my remaining centenary bots, because after bot 1000 I'm not going to bother doing this, are all they're all out of sync. They're not the one that they were supposed to be. So like I said, this review was supposed to be this guy, but it's actually this guy. Yeah. So, G1 Mini Autobot Beachcomber. Now, this is a character that I like to do character mold set collections for. In fact, I've got all the molds right here, which I will show you in that section after the review itself. But let's just look at the review. So, Beachcomber, yeah, he is a little beach buggy. As you can see here, the G1 figure, he's got the rub symbol on, which it does work. Yeah, you can just about make it out. It does work. Yeah, so I like off-road vehicles. I like buggies. I used to collect radio control cars. In fact, I've still got my radio control collection up in the loft. You know, Tamiya, Kyosho, you know, 1/10 scale off-road radio control buggies. I've got loads of them. So I'm a bit of a snob when it comes to, you know, off-road vehicles. I know what makes a good off-road vehicle, and the original G1 Beachcomber is based on an off-road a kind of famous off-road buggy from America called the Chinoaf, and Tamiya did a couple of vehicles based on that called the FAV, which was the military version of the Chinoaf, which was a fast attack vehicle, and then they did the wild one, which was also like a sporty version of it. But yeah, this is based on the Chinoaf off-road vehicle, and it looks a lot like one. It's got like the headlights at the front. You can actually see a little bit of molded suspension behind the wheels. It's got, you know, rubber tires on the front, which is cool. You've got the hood. Then you've got the little kick up, the little guard in front of the driver that deflects all the stones when he's tear-arsing down the road. And the open wheels are kicking up the dirt. They hit that and get deflected over the top. You then got the roll cage. There's a little bit of moulded detail inside the cockpit, and then you go around the back, and then you've got the engine. I see the air cleaners and the exhaust pipes, and it's pretty cool. And it's got rubber tyres on the back, pin wheels that roll extremely well. And yeah, neat little figure, really cool looking car, nice, you know, blue and grey colours, awesome. Now, as this is a G1 figure, it's got a very, very simple transformation. So it's quite simply, you just fold out the legs like so, bring him round, pull out the arms, and then finally flip up the head. And there is Beachcomber in his robot mode, and you know, he looks pretty sweet. He's got like a silver chest with a bit of like engine detail on the chest. He's got some decals. He's got a decal in the middle there, and a bit in his belly. Rub symbols now on his legs. The head, it's got a little bit of. He's got like them silver sort of shades for his eye visor, which is pretty cool. And then you go around. He's a pretty clean bot, but then again, he's a G1 figure. Articulation on this guy, the arms, they go all the way around. Nothing at the head, nothing at the waist. Technically the legs haven't got any articulation, but due to transformation you can sort of fold them back and sort of say that's a knee joint. So yeah, pretty much a brick, as most G1 figures are, but you know, it looks a lot like the original real world vehicle it's supposed to be based upon, so that's pretty cool. But because it's a mini Autobot, you know, he's only small and basic. But yeah, he's pretty cool. And he's really, really neat. So that's my review of G1 Beachcomber. There's not much more you can say about it really. It's just a little buggy dude that turns into a robot. I mean, transforming him back is dead easy. And there you go, he's back in his alt mode. So yeah, there we go. There's my 900 subs review of this guy, G1 Mini Autobot Beachcomber. Now, that's the actual 900 subs review over, but this is a two-part video where I split it down the middle, so to speak, and now I move on to this other thing. Now, before I get on to this other thing where I'll show you all the Beachcomber moulds I've collected over the years, I'd just like to say, years ago, well, basically, I like to do this thing which I call character mould set collecting, where I pick a character and then I collect all the moulds for it. Now, I do have a number of rules for this thing. Basically, the rules are the bot must transform. No non-transforming, you know, figurines, you know, big figures or small figures. They must transform from robot to alt mode. Official and third-party figures count. No knockoffs. Repaints. I've got a rule about repaints. You know, if let's say, you know, if a mould of a different character is repainted as Beachcomber, then that counts. But if a Beachcomber mould is then repainted as a different character, that doesn't count. If that makes any sense. And no kit bots, as in, you know, like crayons or kabaya, you know, bubblegum kits. You know, no kit bots. They've got to be official toys that actually transform and come ready assembled. So they're the rules that I play to. And there's a bunch of characters I do this for. Huffer is my main one. Skybite is another. Skullcruncher, Weird Wolf, And there's a couple of other characters I do it for, but Beachcomber is one of the ones I've got, you know, a bunch of molds for. Now, this character mold set collecting, I did do a video about this previously, years and years ago. I did one on Skybite and the CMSC video. It's got a playlist all its own on my channel. Unfortunately, that video was an absolute dismal failure, and it just didn't work out the way I wanted it. I had this grandiose scheme of taking the image of the original toy and the original character from the cartoon show or the comic, and then taking all the subsequent versions of the mold and then doing an aesthetic comparison between the two to see if they had any of those sort of design features on those characters or not. You know, it's very grandiose plan, very poorly executed. That video's a complete wow. I'm not happy with it, but that was a bit of a dead end for a video series that I plan to do for this channel. But I've wanted to go back to my character mold set collecting, and I know I'm waffling a bit now, and I'm sorry for that. Yeah, so I wanted to figure out a different format for doing it, and I thought, well, this end of month bot haul format where I get all the things I've bought and I pick them up and I say a few words about them and put them down. That format works really well for my haul videos, and I'm wondering whether it'll work for my character mold set collection videos. So with that said, let's get into this video, which is, well, I'm calling it on the thumbnail a character mold set overview or whatever it is, but it's basically my character mold set collection Beachcomber, and I'm wearing my blue polo shirt in reference to Beachcomber. So anyway, let's get this started. Right, so I didn't decide to collect all the molds up front. I've got a cheat sheet here with all the lists of the bots. I've got them all here. So the first bot that I bought, I'm going to show you these in chronological order of purchase. The first bot that I bought, which I got in 26th of June 2016, X-Transbot Arkose. Now, the reason I bought this is because this is a realistic representation of a Chinoaf buggy. This is what the real world vehicle looks like. Yeah, so I bought it because the alt mode is so realistic. That's why I've got it in alt mode. I mean, you look underneath, yeah, there's Beachcomber underneath. But yeah, really cool, great figure. It's got like a V6 engine in the back, which isn't quite right, because these Chinoafs were usually powered by like VW Boxer, VW Beetle Boxer engines, but this one's got a V6 in the back, but doesn't really matter. Very cool figure, awesomely painted, fiddly transformation, but it does the part. And if you have it as your masterpiece, Beachcomber in your collection, it's pretty damn good. But the alt mode is amazing. I love the alt mode on this, and I bought it because it's a buggy former, and I like to collect buggy formers, and that was what spurred me to get that guy. So then the second mold, Power the Prime's Legends Beachcomber, which was one of the figures for the first wave of Power the Prime's Legends that came out, and I can remember I got this at on one of my pre-Christmas toy hunts from Forbidden Planet. I went in there on part of my pre-Christmas toy hunt in December 2017, and they had the Wave 1 Legends classes in stock, so I managed to get hold of Beachcomber. I think I got Windcharger as well. Anyway, so yeah, Legends, Power the Prime's Legends Beachcomber. He's pretty cool, looks the part, go around. He's got quite a lot of moulded detail on him. He's pretty cool. Looks a bit odd. There's a lot of his alt mode. There's a few sort of gaps. And when I say gaps, I mean a lot of the grey parts are showing out rather than like a uniform blue colour, like like on this guy. He's all uniform blue. But this guy in alt mode, he's got a lot of the grey showing, which is a little unusual. But he's still a neat little figure, decently posable. Looks pretty cool, decent update of Beachcomber. So yeah, he's pretty cool. Power the Prime's Legends Beachcomber that I got in December 2017. Next, obviously, I've just done a review on it. G1 Mini Autobot, which I got at TF Nation in 2018. Like I said, should have been this guy as my bot 900, but after I corrected those continuity errors that I made, or discrepancies in my bot numbering system, it turns out this was my bot 900. So yeah, just done a review on him. Very simple little figure. Does exactly what it says on the tin. He's pretty cool, but if I think it was at this point I think I decided I wanted to character mold set collect Beachcomber. I think, or was it before that? I can't remember. Anyway, so yeah, got him. Next, at the same event, the following day, from Spacebridge, I got hold of the Universe Legends Beachcomber. Yeah, so this came out in the was it the 2000s, the early 2000s. The Universe line, they did a lot of repaints of the Cybertron line, but then did some brand new molds. They sort of did reworks of the mini Autobots. This is one of them. A lot of darker blues on this. He turns into a more sort of futuristic looking buggy thing. He has a gun which you can unpeg, but you can't actually peg it in his hands, which is unusual. But yeah, pretty neat little bot. It's got a lot more articulation going on than the G1 toy, but he's pretty cool. So that's Universe Legends Beachcomber, which I got at TF Nation in 2018. Then Igear Duneraker. Now, yes, had to get one of these because Igear did a bunch of the mini Autobots as in a large scale. Like, you could argue people could have used them at the time for like a masterpiece stand-in, but the design, the aesthetic, and the colours on this guy just don't really work. I bought this from Dave Tree at All the Cool Stuff that day I went down to visit him at his shop, which was 15th of October 2018. I went down to Fordingbridge, went to visit Dave Tree at All the Cool Stuff, and I thought while I'm there I wanted to visit his shop at least once. Went round his shop and I thought I've got to buy a few things, and this was one of the things I saw, and I thought, yeah, I need that because I collect Beachcomber molds, so got hold of him. Not a great figure. It's hardly got any heel support. He likes to fall over a lot. The colours are all wrong. He's got this light sort of sky blue colour instead of like the darker blue colour, and also he's got like this gunmetal grey instead of the lightish grey. I don't know whether they did a repaint of this in more sort of toon or toy accurate colours. I don't know whether they did, because I think some of them they did do repaints, but it ain't great. But then again, that's Igear for you. They're an early third party company that produced a few bots where the design and the build quality was not quite as good as what the stuff you get these days. So I managed to get him. He's all right, I suppose, but he's one of the less impressive Beachcomber molds that I've got in my collection. Right, next. Right. Getting into 2019 now. January 2019. Magic Square 4-wheel drive. Yep. So Magic Square did a 2-pack with this and Sea Spray. He's a decent little figure. Looks all right in bot mode. When you transform into his alt mode, his alt mode looks a little different to other renditions of the Beachcomber mold. It looks a little bit. It still looks like an off-road vehicle. It still looks really cool, but it's just slightly different. I'm wondering whether, as this thing is quite a bit different than the G, differs quite a lot from the G1 aesthetic. I'm wondering whether Magic Square are going to go back and do a rework of this in the future. They have done with some of their other figures. They have gone back and done reworks of some of their figures. But especially when you see the Newage one that's come out. Yeah, so I got hold of him. He's okay. He's all right. Decently posable. But aesthetically, a little bit short on the aesthetic front when you look at his alt mode especially. So yeah, got the Magic Square one. Got him in January 2019. And then, literally a few weeks later, Dark of the Moon Scout Class Beachcomber. Now, this is one of the Beachcomber molds that was repainted from a different mold. So when it comes to repaints, this was a different character repainted in Beachcomber colours and called Beachcomber. So that's why it counts. I've got the original version of this mold. Came out as part of the Dark of the Moon sort of Scout Class toy line. Looks really cool. A modern, looks like a modern sort of military buggy. Don't know why he's got 2 Gatling guns on the top, because that's not Beachcomber. Beachcomber's a pacifist, as we all know. But now this figure is very rare and hard to get hold of in the UK, because it came in a 2-pack with another figure, and as far as I know, it was a retailer exclusive in America. Didn't really show up in UK stores, at least I don't think so. So it's kind of hard to get hold of, and if you have to buy this from American sellers, it can be kind of expensive. And also, this grey plastic that they've used for the hips and the waist, very brittle. I actually snapped the waist in half, just transforming it, and I've managed to glue it back together. But also one of the ball joint hips has cracked, so he's kind of brittle. That's why I've got him in alt mode, and I'm not showing him in his robot mode, because in robot mode he's got very floppy legs, and decent mould. Slightly odd aesthetics in robot mode, but looks really cool in alt mode. But like I said, difficult figure to get hold of because it was in a 2-pack that I believe was a retail exclusive in America. So yeah, he's kind of a tough one to get hold of if you're a collector of these this character. So yeah, Dark of the Moon Scout Class Beachcomber, and I got him again in January of 2019. So the next one, right, another one that is kind of rare and hard to get hold of. The big boy, yes, Energon Powerlinx Beachcomber. Now this is a repaint of the Cliff Jumper mold for Energon Powerlinx, and again, this is a figure that's very hard to get hold of if you're a UK collector, because as far as I'm aware, this was from one of the very late waves of Energon toy line, and it only got, as far as I'm aware, only got like a US release. There's plenty of these over in America, but I don't think it ever got a release in the UK, or very rarely got shipped over to the UK. And as such, this guy's really expensive to buy, because you can go onto eBay US, look at the prices. People have got box ones of these for about say 45, 50 quid, but then if you just buy one off eBay, you've got to pay the import tax, then you've got to pay the shipping, and you'll be paying like 80, 90 or 100 quid for one of these easily. It's a big bot. It has lights and sounds, though. I haven't got any batteries in it at the moment. It only makes that meow, 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 that weird noise that sounds like an express train going past. Very big chunky figure, lots of ratchets, and because he's a Powerlinx character, he splits up for the shirt and trousers thing. He's got an excess of joints. Now you see these legs. These aren't how the legs are supposed to be in his robot mode. His robot mode legs are supposed to be slightly different. Let me just put him in his proper leg pose. Right, so that's how his leg is supposed to be, like that, right? But because of all the extra joints this guy's got, I like to stretch his legs out and give him a full-length leg like that, rather than that stumpy short leg he's got there. So, this guy's got options. You can mess around with him and really make him look cool. He's a big chunky bot. He's pretty cool to mess around with. The alt mode, it looks like a futuristic buggy. It is what it is, but the colours work really well on this guy, and he's a pretty cool figure, but very hard to get hold of if you're a UK collector, and again, expensive for that reason. So yeah, so that was Energon Powerlinx, which I got in August of 2020. Right, so let me keep track of this. Right. So, September 2020, Fans Toys FT43 Dune Runner. So yeah, Fans Toys did their version of Beachcomber. I got it. Achingly G1 cartoon accurate, especially in robot mode and possibly alt mode. I'm sure a lot of G1 Masterpiece collectors and Fans Toys fanboys drooling over this thing. Has a few QC issues. There's been reports of the wheels breaking off on the legs. Mine, even though it's got the QC sticker on it, some of the panels on the legs don't fit in properly in alt mode. The alt mode looks totally wrong as far as I'm concerned. Well, it looks right for the G1 cartoon, but it looks wrong for an off-road vehicle because it's got no suspension, no ground clearance, and yeah. So I'm not a fan of this mold, to be honest, even though it weighs an absolute ton because there's so much die cast on it. It looks really cool, but it's not to my taste. I mean, I prefer my masterpieces to look like, to be a masterpiece rendition of the G1 toy, not the cartoon character, because I'm not a fan of the cartoon aesthetic at all. Yeah, so got him in September 2020, And I believe he was the worst bot that I got that particular month. He was the worst bot I got in September 2020 because of all the reasons I've just said. You know, it's just not my thing. It might be fans' toys, but it's not to my taste. But I had to get it because, you know, because I collect Beachcomber molds. Right, so next, Doctor Wu, Extreme Warfare, DWEO3 Big Surge. That came in a 2-pack with a Soundwave character. The Soundwave figure is absolutely amazing, but the Beachcomber is so tiny. I mean, put him next to the G1. In fact, if I transform this guy, he's got ridiculously simple. Basically, the transformation, you just fold his legs up, and that's it. He's transformed. Fold his legs up, tuck his arms in, and there's his alt mode. All right, and you look at it compared to the G1. You know, yeah, teeny tiny little thing, very very basic. Little bit of articulation. He's got elbows, he's got hips, he's got knees. That's it. That's all he's got. He's just got basic rudimentary articulation. Looks decent enough in robot mode. Alt mode looks a bit compromised, but no, he's a really, really tiny little figure. And you know, again, I had to have him. He's pretty neat, but he's the most basic version of the mold that I've got by far. So, next, right, January 2022. Iron Factory Bay Razor. Now, Iron Factory, as we know, leading legend scale company, basically do their own thing. They've got their own aesthetic going on. They're doing a lot of those Bisuju or sort of samurai figures at the moment. Also, they kind of, you could say they're kind of like an IDW-esque aesthetic, you know, and this is one of them. Pretty cool figure. Very fiddly transformation on this guy because of, you know, what he is. Looks pretty cool in alt mode, looks cool in robot mode. Has got, you know, it's got the colours and the main sort of aesthetic cues that you'd expect on a Beachcomber mold. Looks pretty neat. Very, very articulated. Has he got an ab crunch? No, he hasn't. But, you know, he's got everything else. He's got all the other joints you could want. He's a really cool figure. Like I said, bit of a fiddly transformation, but, you know, pretty cool looking dude. And a great addition to the mold set collection. Iron Factory Bay Razor. Right, so then a few weeks later, Newage Jones. Now we're talking. Painted. Looks like the G1 toy in alt mode. Looks like the G1 character, cartoon character in robot mode. Awesome articulations, got an ab crunch, you know, he's very, very cool. Very, very cool figure. Newage, pipped, you know, Magic Square. I mean, you put it next to the Magic Square one, you know, and it's no contest, really. The Magic Square one is slightly bigger, but it just hasn't got that G1 toon aesthetic going on that, you know, that the Newage one has got. Very, very cool figure. Very, very cool. Decent transformation. Awesome articulation. What can you say? It's Newage. Awesome figure. Great, great figure to have. Right. Now, this next one, I got this recently. MengPiHou, MPH Studios, MPH S01, XiaoBengBeng. This thing is incredible. Absolutely awesome. Now, it's kind of small. I mean, let's put him next to the Newage. There he is next to the Newage. And when I saw this, I thought it looked like the Newage. It looked like a downscaling of this, but it isn't. It's its own mould. And, yeah. So, you know, he's tiny. But the engineering on this thing, the articulation on this thing is insane. I mean, he's got a 90-degree ab crunch, right? He's got bicep swivels, thigh swivels. He's got ankle tilts, you know. head rotation. You know, he's he can pull off all the poses, pretty much. You know, he's so articulated, it's unreal. And then the engineering on this thing, the way it transforms is insane as well. So tiny, so many pin. You know, there's no screws on this thing. It's all like little tiny pin joints, and the fit and finish on it is superb. Everything fits together, no looseness or anything. You know, no overly tight. The only gripes I have is that when he's in alt mode, his buggy mode is a little bit short ass. I mean, you look at the buggy mode on that, and that's at long wheelbase by comparison. And also the heel panels, they fold up underneath they've got nowhere else to go. They fold up underneath the alt mode, and they you know, reduce the ground clearance underneath it. But apart from that, this thing is absolutely amazing. I love this thing, and I'm really looking forward to what MengPiHou or MPH Studios is going to do in the future. I mean, they've announced an Optimus Prime, and they're doing a Warpath, which will be the same size as this, and it looks like the G1 toy, but it's going to have all the articulation this has got. And I'm really looking forward to what this MengPiHou Studios is going to do in the future. If they're doing the mini Autobots, they're going to be doing a Huffer down the line, and I'm really looking forward to see what they make of a Huffer mold. But this guy is superb, absolutely amazing figure. Can't crow about it enough. And then finally, I literally got it last month. Yeah, the Legacy Evolution Deluxe Beachcomber. Yeah, got him. Comes with a little bird. Has that gun which attaches to the grill of the alt mode. Decent figure. I mean, the last sort of official sort of Beachcomber we got was the Legends, and as you can see, he's bigger than the Legends. Great figure, but he's got a few issues. In alt mode, the feet. Now you look on the G1 toy, you can see it's got these that little raised sort of panel that sits in front of the driver, and you can see the panel sticks up, but the driver can see out, and it's because, like I said, when the cars tear arsing down a dirt track, because it's an open wheel vehicle, it's going to kick all the stones and grit up, and that's a deflector panel which deflects the wind and the stone and the dust over the top of the cabin while the guy's driving it. This guy, when you transform it into alt mode, these things stick up so much the driver can't see where he's going. Great. So that's something that's really good about this figure. The other thing is this silver paint on the legs. In my opinion, it has no point or no place to be there. Now, if you look at the Fleuro Deary original design of the G1 cartoon character, you can see in alt mode he's got like a silver triangle on his hood. But when you look at the robot mode, that silver triangle isn't there. Now, interestingly enough, the Fans Toys figure comes with extra silver panels that you can actually plug onto his legs that replicates that silver panel on his legs or his alt mode. And this guy actually came with it painted in. Now, personally, I would have preferred them not bother painting them. And if you look at the box, it shows it on the boxes and those panels not being painted. The other thing about it is the gun plugs onto the front of the alt mode, to form a bumper, and if you lose it, then that's it. That's the alt mode done. It's kind of like a crankcase without that grill piece that forms his gun. You can't form the alt mode properly. This guy's got the same issue. So it's a decent figure, but like I said, it's got a few issues. Mainly the silver paint there and this excessive sort of feet panels that stick up in front of the driver's vision in alt mode. So yeah, he's got some fundamental flaws in my opinion, but he's still a decent figure. And if that's just me, that's just my opinion on it, as I've got all the other Beachcomber molds. Well, there they are. There's all the Beachcomber molds that I've got. Now I do have another mold. I've got this, the Cybertron. It's the movie version. Scout class version, or the Sector 7 repaint of Hardtop, Cybertron Hardtop. Now, there are some people that say that this is a representation of Shattered Glass Beachcomber, and that might well be true, but as this character is not called Beachcomber, he's just called Hardtop. If they'd have called this guy Beachcomber, then I would have it as part of my collection as a Beachcomber mold, but he's not technically in my character mold set collection Beachcomber. If they did a repaint of this in Beachcomber colours and called it Beachcomber, I mean, I love this mold. This is a great mold. It turns into like a buggy, which would go really well with the Beachcombers I've got. But yeah, so I'm just throwing him in at the end. So there we go, that's my character mold set collection Beachcomber. Now, I'd like some feedback in the comments section if you've made it to the end of the video. I'd like to do more of these character mold set collection videos as as a thing in themselves, like a series of videos. I've got a bunch of characters I collect the molds for, like Huffer. I'd like to do a redo of my Skybite video, because obviously I've got more Skybite molds now. Yeah, so do you think doing these character mold set collection videos in the same style as my end of month botholes, does it work for you? Did you enjoy that? I tried to get through them as quickly as possible so as to keep the runtime of this video as short as possible. I mean, it's nearly up to 40 minutes now. But anyway, that's it. That's my Beachcomber character mold overview, or character mold set collection overview. And that's the end of this video. So yeah, thank you to everyone who's subscribed to my channel. 900 subs, another threshold met. In my time as a Transformers YouTube reviewer. Yes, I would like to think that I can get to 1,000 subs by 26th of May next year, which will be the 10th anniversary of this channel, but we'll have to wait and see. That's something to aim for next year. So that's it. I've been TFI Wilderness. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you all next time. Goodbye.